Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of NDPesic Group Unedited. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 3 of NDPesic Group Unedited. I am Deuce Pesic of NDPesic Group, President and CEO here in Tallahassee, Florida. I wanted to go ahead and just thank everybody that wound up viewing the first 2 episodes and sharing them. I wound up getting quite a few people message me in and actually give me a shout, and we talked about just what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, and in talking with all these fine folks, a couple of scenarios today. I want to just go ahead and make it quick and easy, but I did want to share a couple of things that that came up that I think would put into perspective of what I'm about, what I want to do. I'm a strong believer that over the past 20, 30 years, I think we as a society have somehow forgotten to feel, to be empathetic, to walk in somebody else's shoes for a moment and realize that, we are the sum of our life's experience. I mean, who we are today is obviously a result of, the good things, the bad things, the joyous occasions, and even the bad things that happen in people's lives that we need to sometimes just, instead of judge and guess of, instead of listening to respond, listen to understand. In speaking with these fine folks over the weekend about the first 2 videos, a couple of stories came up that I wanted to share, and I wanted to use this opportunity because I think it reflects both the human condition as well as taking a moment to step back and view and try to understand and be a little bit more empathetic. I think NDPesic Group as a whole, I think me being in customer service all my life and the hospitality industry, and then taking on this large project of getting friends off the ground, has a lot to do with listening and taking care of folks. Well, a couple of stories came up and that I wanted to share with you that really changed me a little bit more. I pretty much well understood, but I didn't realize the level of emotions that I could actually hit onto folks. And the first one was working with polymer resins. I'm able to go ahead and inlay photographs, and then of course the backing would be whatever motif you want to do, whether it's metals, whether it's floral, whether it's earthy, stones and sands and colors and patterning. I mean, really, it is limitless. It's all based on you. So what I do is I pretty much will like to ask a lot of questions about people's likes, dislikes, but how they like to feel when they see a certain thing, whether it's a centerpiece in their dining room table or a backsplash in their kitchen that they spend most of the time when they're home. I really like to pick up on those items. And there was a young lady that I work with who, I wound up getting to know her, and occasionally I'll do pro bono stuff. I like to make something for somebody just because, okay? When I'm realizing that her mom and her sister were very, very close. And what wound up happening is a tragic accident. There was a drunk driver that hit her sister's car, and her sister unfortunately had to go home. So in speaking with her, I realized that she liked hydrangeas. She liked violet hydrangeas, were her favorite flower, and she didn't put emphasis on it, but I picked up on the fact that sunflowers were very important to her. She really liked sunflowers as well. So I asked her if she could give me a copy of an 8x10, and I did. So I went, picked up the necessary materials and stuff, and laid beds of hydrangeas on my grid, and put the picture in. But obviously I don't make them. I lay out the pattern and see how, whether you like it or not, whether we need to make adjustments and so forth. Well, one of the things that I did is I laid the 8x10 on the bed of hydrangeas, and put a little sunflower protruding out of the lower right hand corner of the flower, kind of like a, hey guys. Well, when I showed it to her, I didn't know how I was able to affect somebody through my art pieces, that she really could not stop crying, and I felt very horrible. I thought, if there was something that I did wrong, or, mess something up, because the last thing I want to do is upset anybody. And she said, no, the piece really hit home, and it's probably one of the nicest pieces I've made that I didn't actually get to create, because she wanted to tell me that if I made it, that it would destroy her mom, because the three of them were so close, that I didn't make it. But the story holds true to my heart, and it's one of those times that I'll never forget, that I was able to affect somebody so much with one of my art pieces. The other one was with a gentleman that I've seen once a week. He was a regular customer at the local pharmacy chain that I worked at, and there was a time when I was working with some engineers working on the Friends project, because I wanted to establish the validity and the merit. Will this work? Does the project have merit to do the job that I vision it to do? And of course, and I'm very grateful for the time they gave me. It was about 4 months, once a week for 4 months, for an hour. We got together and hit up different aspects of the project and the details, to see, will it work upon, arriving, transport, holding the weight, taking it to the locations where they would be needed during natural disasters. And that particular day, we got all the numbers together, and it definitely showed that the project had merit. So this gentleman, I believe his name was Mr. Wilkinson, well into his 70s, flannel shirt, dungaree jeans, suspenders, and I remember he proudly wore his U.S. veteran cap, and I was able to notice the Marines tattoo on his right forearm. And he asked me, he's like, Deuce, why are you so happy today? And I told him, well, I've been working with these engineers, and they gave me great news that the project I was working on has quite a bit of merit, and that it's able to do what I want it to do. And he asked me, well, what does it do? So when I proceeded to tell him that, Friends are first response emergency needs dispatch shelters, that their primary function is to have a collapsible shelter, that during a natural disaster or some type of catastrophe where there aren't any facilities around, that it's actually deliverable by helicopter. So medics and volunteers and nurses are able to have a facility with supplies to administer help to the people that are in needing. And as I was telling him, his eyes welled up quite a bit, and to a point where I thought something was wrong. So I asked him if he needed a chair, if he needed to sit down, could I get him anything? And he just nodded no. And the only thing that he said to me was, with his eyes filled with tears, he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, Where were you 40 years ago when I needed you? So, to just imagine, to be empathetic and imagine to be in shoes of somebody of his character and caliber, and just to imagine the hell that he went through with his fellow comrades, our veterans, it leaves me speechless. But I think it's fair to say that people that hear about it can visualize it. I guess part of empathy is maybe some sort of history to try to understand, to try to be in those individual shoes. We are the sum of our life's experience. And anyway, be more empathetic, feel for others, try to understand rather than just respond. After all, we are one people, one earth. Guys, thank you very much. Have a great day.